The markets are going down. What's going to happen? Where's our support? What's going to happen in the long term or short term? We're going to cover that now. We're also going to go over what am I trading in the short term, a token that I'm very, very interested in that's launching, also a couple of games that are launching next week as well as today. We'll also cover the hyperliquid drama of late and the recent anime ChatGPT kind of sensation, which has pushed the token into a good DLMM range. So let's get amongst it. So the first thing is we're here at Masari, like, why are the crypto markets going down? The biggest thing is, of course, the fact that the tariffs are here. President Trump announced 25% tariffs on all cars not made in the United States. That was last night, and the market, of course, reacted. I like this the best. Ferrari to increase prices by 10% to offset President Trump's tariffs. Oh man, whatever shall I do? The car I'm never buying, no matter how much money I make, just got more expensive. Kind of like that, to be honest. Having a look at this, the markets are plenty of red there. Sol's lost all of its gains, and it could go down a little bit further. Meanwhile, we're still sitting in this kind of expected realm where we're slightly fearful, almost neutral, to be honest. So what am I looking at right now? Well, I'm just using what I've mentioned many times before, Katoshi strategy. And let me just pull myself over to the side here. So this basically relies on the 2-hour chart. When it goes green, you put on a long. When it goes red, you can either let it go or you can short it. I've just put on a bit of a short, but I've missed the first, sizable drop. And then I've got to take profit around like 81,000. So nothing much. I just want to start to use the strategy more to see how accurate it can be. Solana, we had the same deal. We had this nice little run up, which like in the end, like what did this kind of equate to? Maybe kind of these levels, like at least a 10% gain. And now we've already just dropped down from like 139 to 131. So we've dropped a little bit, but we could go a little bit further, maybe all the way down to this level at the bottom, like 124. Or maybe a little bit lower, to be perfectly honest. I don't think we're going to sit down there for very long, though. Just trade down there. The amount that we actually needed to get over was like 155-ish in order to start to be in like the green zone. I'm not going to show you ETH, but ETH is basically the similar setup. The market USDT dominance has increased, and that's not what we want to see. So when this goes green, this comes up. Well, that's a bad thing because people are stabling up. And we want to see it go the other way. When this goes down is more when you're going to go long. The basic thing to keep in mind is that the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, they've all gone down. So like I don't trade this, but just kind of looking at this, if we kind of came down to like maybe this level, that could potentially be, expected. In which case, if that happens, especially with the weekend happening, I'm thinking maybe crypto comes down a little bit further, just because these tariffs, they're hurting. Short term, they're hurting things. Long term, I think everything's going to be fine. But if we can make a small amount of money, that would be perfect. Ben Cohen from Into the Cryptoverse has this regarding death crosses. TLDR, when this crosses, we see a price move down. You can back test it. It's typically what happens. So what I've done just with a tutorial account for now is I just put on a small amount of shorts. Short on ETH, BTC, and Sol. Just because, just to try out this system. This is not financial advice with Flash Trade. I'll cover Flash Trade and their token launch coming up later. I would use Ranger Finance, and I will use Ranger Finance. However, I've gone and put take profits in these, and take profits are not currently live with the Ranger Finance. Next bit of news, just an overview. 120 million was liquidated from the cryptocurrency market. The thing to keep in mind, unfortunately, is whatever happens with tariffs affects everything. So right now we're in this tariff time, so it's not probably the best time to be like super long leverage, to be perfectly honest, or super short leverage, unless you've got great setups with stop losses and whatnot. It's a time when you're going to be a little bit destroyed. If we go and have a look at let's zoom in again, the Sol liquidation map. Nasri from Ranger Finance is putting out these little videos, which are worth looking at for sure. And you can see when there's clusters, typically the market makers will come down and take those clusters, meaning there are no short, there's not a lot of short clusters. The big short cluster is here or here. There's no one really to liquidate. There's just a whole lot of long clusters. So if you move the price down from here to like maybe like this price, whatever this price is, 121.86, that would be a decent amount of revenue that you would produce, if you're Wintermute or someone. So that's where I'm kind of thinking we come on down. Now, of course, there's a decent amount of clusters like all the way down, but I think this is it here, or I don't necessarily think it's down here. And of course, people can add more collateral as it comes down, and it can move the clusters further down. So I'm just kind of looking at this, but Nasri covers this himself. Next bit of news is there's a full draft on the Stable Act. This is where you've probably seen different governments or registered bodies or states, whatever, they can go and produce their own stablecoins, which is fine, only they don't they don't really do anything, because we're now going to have this issue of just fragmented liquidity. Once again, this is like having 50 L2s on ETH, where you're going to go and buy something and oh, we don't accept this PYUSD or USDC or USDT. We accept USDY, whatever, USD Wyoming or whatever it may be. If you didn't catch the news, basically stable coins can be issued. The biggest thing is they will not pay any interest or yield to the holders as part of its payment stablecoins. So, well, it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't fix anything. They do say there's no algo stablecoins for 2 years. They all have to be one-on-one backed by like treasury assets or liquid assets. Now let's go into the Gilbly, Studio Gilbly kind of meta that's hit up. This is what I was referring to as a fantastic DLMM opportunity. Like when it came off, you didn't necessarily go in crazy thinking it would go really, really high. And because of the bearish market conditions, this probably would have gone quite a bit higher in the past, but it didn't with this one. So I kind of came onto my radar fairly early, and I've just been DLMMing it on the 1 minute chart. And it's going higher and higher, and it still has a whole lot of attention. It has nothing to do with the actual original artist or anything like that. It's just the current meta. One thing just to keep in mind on why I like to DLMM is if we kind of have a look at this chart here, and if we just buy it and hold it, if we get in early, we're good. We're good. However, if we don't, then we see that like we have to really time our buys and sells, which you can do if you are trading it like actively. You buy it here, it runs up here. You have to sell it and not be too greedy. And then it comes on down, you have to buy again, then sell it. Or you can just let the DLMM alpha of the pool do it. Now, this has reached a whole lot of craziness, and it'll probably continue for a little bit of time. It's pretty cool. I'm not going to get into like the AI versus creators argument. It's a problem out there, of course, but it is what it is. I'm not the one to solve it or really offer an opinion on it. I'm just focusing on like what is a profitable play right now. So the White House did this. I mean, this is a current tech generation White House. At least the person on the Twitter is. It's good intern skills to be so quick on this, and it relates to this fentanyl drug dealer that's being arrested or deported or whatever. I mean, it's pretty amazing. The tech itself is actually just pretty crazy, to be perfectly honest. And what we've seen over the last few days, it's been the peak of solmeteor.ai's website. This is a good tool to use, by the way. Just gotta be mindful that not every token is legitimate. There were some like fake ones that were being pulled onto the API, and they've got no protection mechanism yet, other than just education. Of course, if you see the organic symbol from Jupiter, this is what you need to see for sure. If you don't know what this tech actually does because you're enjoying life, well done. You can take any photo of you or anything and throw it into ChatGPT 4.0 and then just make it into the version like this. And it's freaking unreal. It doesn't take very long at all. Binance is in on it. It's got a whole lot of attention. Now we do have this here, which seems to be potentially fake, but just pointing out that what you probably want to do is you don't want to say look, hey, can you create this in the Studio Ghibli style? You probably want to say an anime style, just to have different wording because of copyright infringement and lawsuits and whatever. However, it does say that the letter is fake in community notes. There's no records of this, and the email address is not valid. I haven't checked it, just letting you know. Having a quick look at the Solana calendar, we need to put some more stuff in here, but I actually want to know how many people are using it. I don't have analytics set up, so just reply in the comment if you're using it if you find it helpful. I have the goal of people just bookmarking and just checking into it. So when you can't watch a video, especially as I'm now only doing these twice a week, you've got something to get amongst. We've got Portal's Chrono Rush live coming today. It's not here as well, but the DeFi Dungeons Git book is coming out live. I should do a video on that if I can. They have DeFi Dungeons has their mint on the 31st. This will be in within the day. We've got Zeus, which I'll cover shortly. And there's also a whole lot of stuff happening with new dupe votes, specifically design and art working group and the DevRel working group. Also, some big news that happened a couple of days ago with someone that can do that can make very viral stuff, has joined Solana as an advisor to help companies launch and grow their apps. People can always like ping me questions, and they do in time.fun. You can, like if you ping it on Telegram, I may miss it. Time.fun, my minutes are like 14 cents, and you can do a message and I'm going to reply. And people are asking like, how do you make it kind of blow up or go viral? And I haven't gone viral myself very often, but just in general, like I do have some advice there. But someone like this that's working for a blockchain, this is big. This is properly big. Another reason why Solana takes so much attention. Solana and Sui, I'm still very, very, very bullish on Sui as well. Tolly got his Seeker device. It's development tech. It boots, so this is good. Then we should still be seeing like June, July shipping, and then this should be like hopefully like airdrop central, to be perfectly honest. Apollo, Bitcoin and Solana, the permissionless Bitcoin on chain. I did a chat with Justin, and I'll be like really, really frank. I didn't fully think that Justin explained it to me really, really well initially, which I don't hold that against him, because I feel like explaining things in a nice way that people can grasp is a skill set. But I got it towards the end, or I got it towards like we had a chat and then we did the podcast, and I got it. That's a worthwhile podcast. And it'd be great if they had like some explainer videos that just like put it out there, just like, this is what it is. This is why it's valuable. But I actually feel that this is really valuable. So I'm hopefully going to do a tutorial on this. It may not be needed necessarily, but sometimes this stuff happens to be needed for like people that are new. Basically, you can, it's no KYC. You can deposit BTC. They've got trusted guardians. It's a better alternative to WBTC, essentially. And they're more aimed at institutions, and then you get that ZBTC, you can DeFi with it. A lot of cool things can happen with it. And Apollo Dex is now live. Mainnet has launched. Next bit of news, Meteors continue to cook and take on a lot of feedback. I still need to have my chat with Soju, and I will. But now Token 2022 is supported, is live in DLMM tech, which is cool. There's different tokens that will be launched with this standard, and now you can do it here as opposed to just going to Orca, which is what you had to do previously. If you used aped.pro, then you're eligible for a whole lot of dupe to eligible traders. So you can see here that you had to trade at least $1,000. So there'll be a lot of people that qualified for this. I know Sol Jakey was trading on this at one stage. Eligible wallets, this number. People have asked, like, why is Apple.pro, why is it shutting down? I don't think it achieved the product market fit that it was after. There's a big competition from like BullX and Photon and GMGN. It's kind of moved into trenches, and I think that is a good move. One other good thing that Jupiter's done is quick accounts, and this allows you like bot-like performance without having to sign transactions and whatnot. You come up here, you can sign up with any of these things, and just boom, 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 boom. You just click the button and off it goes. That's pretty cool. Let's move on to DeFi Dungeons. So this is a game that I'm really, really, really hyped for. I'm going to cover another game later on today, which is related to portals, but I'm very hyped for this. And I think it's going to pull in a lot of attention to Solana. Like tens of thousands of people will potentially come into Solana from other ecosystems, or at least be aware, because this will be quite fun. So the Gitbook will go live later today, March 28th. I don't know what time. I'll cover it and do a video same day. The mint is actually on the 31st. If you don't have whitelists, I don't know how you're going to be able to get some first come, first serve at the end. I don't think there's going to be any left over, but maybe. Price is pretty high. You can buy these secondary, like you can buy the whitelist for like 150 and then add to that, so an extra 325. So there's a decent amount of like demand for this, proper demand. They sold for around 200 to 250 pre-sale last year, so still a whole lot of demand. I want to cover it. I think it's going to be fun. March 31st, these are the graphics. Gives that nostalgia aspect. But the one that I'll be covering today will be portals, and this will be going live 6:30 p.m. UTC. So I did a video on this. TLDR is you can, too long, didn't watch. TLDW, whatever. You can claim some tokens. You have to claim them. So if you have got the ledgers, if you have Mad Lads or Cyberfrogs or Tensorins on Ledger, you have to claim the transaction, which will mean some people don't want to do that, which is fair enough, in which case you can't get the chrono. You can use a chrono or you can buy the chrono to go and play the game. I'm expecting tens of thousands of players and a great amount of publicity for Portals itself. I think it'll be fun. Season 1 starts later today, and it goes for 7 days. The earlier you can get in, the better. There are battles every 30 seconds where if you're in the top number of battlers, you win chrono. And I think it'll be fun. So I'm going to go and play a little bit for sure. And I will be doing this live stream 6:30 p.m. UTC. It goes live at 6 p.m. UTC, but I'm just going to, just work it out first. So I'm not the blind leading the blind. The other really cool thing is they have a next-gen Portals agent, which makes me feel that chrono is not just a single-use token, like the speculation point here. And don't go and just DGen play this, buy up all the supply, unless you want to. But maybe this doesn't just finish at the game after the 3 different seasons of the game. It has a voice-to-voice AI agent, which is really, really cool. Camino's got next bit of news, a growth initiative with USDG, and this is decent. Type in USDG in the borrowed markets. In the main market, you get paid to borrow the token. You can supply it. There are no incentives there in this market, but if you want to, you could go and provide some liquidity for this, or Meteor or whatever, or just go and swap PYUSD or USDC into this and then go and borrow against it. So for example, I have like Sol and I borrow a whole lot of PYUSD against it, but I'm paying that interest now. Whereas if I go and kind of pay down that debt in a way and just borrow USDG against it, then I'm getting paid to borrow. I'm getting paid to deposit Sol at like 6.74%, or not that high, sorry, 4%. And then I'm getting paid to actually go and borrow USDG. So I reckon that's cool. Next bit of news, an update on Hyperliquid and Jelly. This was major news a couple of days ago, but I did a bit of a tweet on it as a TLDR. The thing is, there's a reason why Jupiter only has 3 tokens. Flash Trade doesn't have that many more. And that's essentially because BTC, ETH, and Sol, that's where you're going to make most of your money. And if you make most of your money there, then anything else is just additional risk. And this is very true of Hyperliquid. There is a conspiracy theory, which could be completely accurate, that Binance and OKX and the big derivatives platforms are trying to kill Hyperliquid by bankrupting the vault or hurting the foundation. And how this basically happened is this decentralized perp exchange, which is not, same with like Jupe perps, it's not properly decentralized. No one's voting on this other than the team at this stage. They control the majority of the validators. The HLP is the internal liquidity vault of Hyperliquid. They listed a Jelly token with a small market cap, which was 10 to 20 million. And the trader opened a huge $8 million short. Then they removed the margin. HLP inherited it and started to liquidate the massive position. And they started to buy it on chain, squeezing the shorts, and jelly pumped from 10 million to over 50 million. And so they would have realized an unrealized loss of $12 million. And then someone else came in and whatnot. And basically the validators rapidly decided to delist jelly perps. And the Oracle price at the time was 50 cents. And they said, okay, no, we're going to liquidate it at this cost here. I believe it was 50 cents. It might be a dollar missing, 1 too many zeros there. Closing all open positions. Maybe it wasn't 50 cents, maybe it was 5 cents. But either way, like there was a price and significantly lower as when they're like, okay, well, we're not going to accept the Oracle price. We're just going to go with this. And they end up turning into a profit, but they just show that they are not decentralized anyway. I understand why they did it for sure, but like I'm not bullish on hype because it's basically a centralized exchange pretending to be a decentralized exchange, essentially. And some people have a whole lot of fun on it, like it could become the FTX 2.0. And it certainly could be, to be perfectly honest. Like they're going and listing all these new tokens without actually having like a strategy to mitigate risk, which is dangerous. It is actually dangerous. And Zach has probably the best point of view here. Basically, when it came to the Lazarus group, the North Korean hackers, when they were putting money through this, they're like, well, fine, we're earning fees. This is profitable for us. We're decentralized. But as soon as they were being attacked with not even like as an exploit, or rather it was just arbitrage or just genius like market making moves, then they just centralize the system entirely. So it's a double standard essentially. By the way, there's a Mega ETH airdrop guide. Still need to do a video on this. This will be coming soon. But check that out in the meantime. Now, Flash Trade, they have their token launch coming up soon. I'm not sure when, but this is pretty cool. The biggest thing is 80% will be going, there's no VC, there's no team allocation. 80% goes to just the beasts, is my understanding, like NFT beasts. And of course, they have to do a lot of building to make this quite a bit of success, to be perfectly honest. But they will only get VC allocations when they ship stuff and they use Futagi to say, hey, we will release this. We would like an allocation of tokens, which will probably mean it's going to have maybe a mintable supply. I'm unsure exactly how it will be. But I'll do another podcast with Anas from Flash Trade because I think this is a major step in the right direction, right? We look at all the tokens. We love our Dupe. We love our Drift. Well, most of us probably do. But if a token like is so volatile, despite producing revenue, it's kind of sucky to hold that token. The next bit of super bullish news is Mountain token sale goes live on MetaDAO project this Monday. This will be the first token launch that MetaDAO is doing. I'm super bullish on MetaDAO. I've mentioned this many times. If you could accumulate any kind of meta, not financial advice, but like at lower prices, just a small DCA, long term, I think this will do well. Now, Mountain, there'll be a podcast coming out hopefully soon from Mountain DAO and MetaDAO, where they had a chat on Edgar. I've already gone through the tokenomics and I'll go through it on Monday. It's going to go for 7 days, but I'm expecting, $20, $30 million worth of funds to go into this, to be perfectly honest, because Mountain DAO gets massive deal flow. So they go and work with all these devs, they see what they're building, and then they help them out, and then they're like, hey, what do how do you think we should do this? And then they go, well, let's invest in you. Early stage, pre-seed. And then that's equity from Mountain Capital. It's pretty genius, to be perfectly honest. The final thing I'm going to talk about before we end for today will be if you got the Walrus airdrop. I never covered it in my Sui videos, so like if you managed to get some, perfect, go and claim it now. This is for their decentralized data storage layer aspect. And if you want to, you can go and LP in a range. It did dip significantly from like 79 cents down to, from like 96 cents all the way down to 50 cents. I wouldn't go with this crazy leverage. I've done a tutorial on how to use Bluefin. You can check it out, or we can link it below. But even in this kind of range, maybe we want to go a little bit higher, a little bit lower. You're earning this sizable APR with decent fees and rewards. It is a leverage play, so you can lose money. If you don't like that concentrated aspect, you can just drag this out a bit more, and I think that's working, right? And it's still a sizable APR. So something for you to consider. It's essentially, it's food for thought. That's all for today. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already done so. I will be live later on today. And also check out these two videos over here. One of them is on using Bluefin, so check that out. The other one's just another crypto video. Cheers.